Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name's Peter Faciano, and today is Monday, my second to last peated Scotch review within this series. Today, we're taking a look at Ledaig. It's a peated Scotch coming out of the Isle of Mull. This is coming in at 46.3% ABV, non-chill filtered. Not sure about natural color or not. Cask maturation is 18 years in ex-bourbon, and then an additional 2 years it's finished in a sherry cask. My bottle is a 750 milliliter bottle because I ended up picking it up off of the Whiskey Exchange, and the amount that they were asking was $84.78, minus taxes, minus shipping, so this was a little bit more than normal. And even though I said Ledaig, this is coming out of the Tobermory distillery. Let's go ahead and pour it, nose it, taste it, talk about it, and then if you stick around until the end, I'm going to be giving it a score. If you are new to the channel and you end up liking this information and you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and subscribe. Just go and click that link right there. Turn that bell notification on because I go live with videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Oh, this is a peated Scotch, if I haven't said that already, which I do believe I have. And I'm getting a bunch of barbecue smoked meat notes right off the bat. Smells fantastic. Now, as I was looking online for the information about the cask maturation, I only saw one place where it said that it was 18 years in ex-bourbon and then finished 2 years in sherry. If you know any different or if that information is wrong, please correct me in the description or in the comments down below. Nowhere on the bottle does this say that it's natural color, and I couldn't find any other information out there whether it's natural color or not. If you know any different, again, let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's get this thing on the nose. Up front is that smoky peat note, and then followed by a really solid, strong nose of apricot. Good amounts of vanilla. The maltiness is also shining through. I tell you what, this is one of the better smelling peated Scotches that I've had in a while. The sherry cask finish is shining through just a little bit. It's something that's adding depth to the nose on the very far back end. All right, I can't wait to get this on the palate, so let's go ahead and get that first sip down. On the palate, everything screams subtle, balance, and depth. Every single note that I pick up on the nose comes through and reveals itself. There's a sweet note right at the very front of the arrival that quickly turns into that smoked meat flavor on the side of my tongue. The apricot develops as it goes to the mid palate to the finish, and then as it finishes, everything seems to combine together to create a very complex, well put together, cohesive peated single malt. As that first sip is sinking in, the ABV is not too overwhelming. The lingering peat notes don't overpower anything else that's in this bottle. So let's go ahead and get that second sip down, add a little bit of water to it, talk about Tobermory, and then finish up by giving this a score. Let's go ahead and get that second sip down. This reminds me of a peated Scotch that is for all seasons. Typically when I think of a peated Scotch, I think of cold season drinking. This has enough fruity crispness. It's well developed. The peat's not overpowering. I can see sipping this summer, winter, spring, fall. The second sip on the finish, there is a little bit more of a vanilla note that's coming through, that malt standing out a little bit, but overall, the apricot, the smoked meat peated note is coming through. It's well developed. None of the individual notes are overpowering the others, just like I mentioned before. I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple of drops of water to this, talk a little bit about Tobermory, and then get on to the score. Taking a look at the history of the distillery, it was established in 1798 by John Sinclair under the distillery name of Ledaig. It changed ownership a couple of times until it hit about the 1930s. The Depression, Prohibition, war, declining sales of whiskey eventually caused the distillery to close down. It opened very briefly in 1973 for 3 years, and then I think somewhere around 1980 something or other, the distillery opened, but not as a distillery. I think somebody came in and wanted to put this as like vacation rentals, and one of the buildings was used for aging cheese, but I do not believe any whiskey was being produced during that time. And eventually it closed down again. And I need a little bit of help here. In 1993, Burn Stewart Distillers ended up purchasing the distillery. And I don't know if Burn Stewart is also part of the South African company Distill or Distel. I think it's Distill. Whatever the case may be, he purchased it in 1993, and then I think the current owner of Distill purchased it in 2013. If you have any clarification on that, let me know in the comments down below. They went through maintenance and renovation, and then they ended up reopening in 2019. And from that point forward, they were known as the Tobermory Distillery, and it's been going strong ever since. If you have anything to add about the distillery, let me know in the comments down below. I like reading a little bit more information about that. All right, now the water has done its thing. Let's go and get one last nose, one sip, and then get onto the score. A pepper note came out. I usually end up getting more spice out of a whiskey when I add water to it. I think it has something to do with the water-soluble and non-water-soluble particles, and it separates, and I think it brings out more of the spice in a whiskey. The apricot note is still going strong. The peat note has now taken a back seat, and I think that's normal. As the whiskey sits in the glass, I think the peat notes start to become diminished naturally anyway. The sherry fruit note is still there. Good vanilla, good malt. And then again, back behind everything, that peat note, that smoky peat note is coming through. I don't get any Band-Aid and iodine. No tarry notes. This is very savory on the peated side. Yeah, other than the spice note, I think the nose stayed the same. Let's go ahead and get it on the palate. Yeah, just like the nose, nothing really has changed on the palate with the exception of that spicy note coming through. And it's not a pepper spice. It's a little bit more towards a ginger and a cooking spice that's not pepper. Vanilla, sherry, malt, smoky meats, apricot, little tannin on the side, very well rounded, not sharp at all. If you don't like spice, don't add water. If you like spice, you might want to try to add a drop or two of water and see if that brings out that spice note as it did for me. And now moving on to the score. If you are new here, I am scoring everything out of 5 stars. I'm basing these 5-star reviews off of my peated Scotch series only. I can't compare this to a bourbon or an Irish or a Japanese or an American single malt. So everything is going off of the peated series that I've been doing. The depth and the complexity that I'm getting in the glass, how everything is coming together. Nothing is being hidden behind the peat, the spice, the sweetness, the malt, the apricot, the vanilla. Everything comes together to make this a very enjoyable pour. With and without water, I could probably do both. It just depends on my mood, whether I want spice or not. And because of all of that, I am going to give this thing a very solid 4.25. I like this quite a bit. As I'm working my way through the bottle, each time I go back to this, I end up enjoying this more and more. I'm looking forward to seeing if this changes over the next 6 months or so. Are you familiar with Ledaig 18 or the 12 or anything from them? I do believe they have a Tobermory release as well that is non-peated. If you've had anything from them, let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. What score would you give this based on the price and availability? It's not available in my area. That's why I had to get it off the Whiskey Exchange. It's a solid pour. I can see myself drinking this year round, not just in the colder months. That's where I'm going to leave it. Wherever you're at in your journey, I hope you're enjoying it. And until the next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye.